And good evening, everyone. This is Cristina Campbell, and
Good evening, I'm Sandy Rausch.
And
I'm Dana Christisen. Good to see you.
Yeah, so the three of us are going to help guide you through another part of the blueprint for launching your young living business. This is number 8. Next week will be the wrap-up of this particular series. That doesn't mean that we're going to stop teaching you about business and things that are important to know on your business. But tonight we're going to really focus in on organizing your income producing activities. And I found a quote that Gary Young had stated while he was still with us. He said, "If I had waited until I knew it all, you wouldn't be sitting here today." And so many times we hear about, oh, I just don't know enough to share the oils. Oh, I just don't know enough. Oh, I just don't know enough. Well, if you wait until you know it all, you'll never share this business with others. But first of all, we're going to talk about organizing your IPAs. It's one thing to commit to doing income producing activities. And we have talked about what those activities are. In enrolling, empowering, educating, that is what we do. That is what we do. It's another thing to organize yourself. A lot of times I have found that shooting from the hip works really well for me, especially if I'm in the zone. And I just feel very compelled that I need to call an individual, and I don't even know what I'm going to say until it just starts flowing. And it usually is in its perfection. But to have a system in place is what we do as well, so that on those days that we're working our IPAs or our business, we have something that we can refer to, we can go to. And it's important to plan. You know what they say, people who fail to plan to fail. So it's imperative that you learn to plan. Some love notebooks, some are all digital, but below here on this slide, I have a couple of favorite tools. And we're going to actually extrapolate a little bit on this because the three of us do things a little bit differently. And that's what I want you to understand, is find what works for you. First of all, many of you may or may not know that in your virtual office, you can actually capture notes about an individual member. So you can organize each member's account information and simple stats through My Organization in your virtual office, and then go to their name. You can actually type in their name and it'll come up in your organization. If you have 16 Paulas in your organization, then all 16 of those will come up if you're just typing in Paula, but you can choose the one that you're wanting to add notes to. So use the Notes tab on that member's information screen. You'll see that on the top, to capture things like their preferred contact method. Some people prefer emails over texts or vice versa. Some people prefer being called or contacted in the evening because they work during the day. So you might want to put that in the details. You might want to put personal details, like if they have a pet, what is their pet name? Because what happens is as our organizations grow, we don't remember everything about everyone as much as we would like to. But to have something in that notes that spurs your memory and goes, oh yeah, her dog was Maggie. I know she had that dog a long time ago and it's been a while since we've visited, but I'm going to ask about Maggie. Or the names of their children, the names and ages of their children. That way you can, talk about kids or whatever it is that you're compelled to talk about at the time. And also, I have kept track of CDs that I've sent them or incentives that I've sent them. this is another great place to make those notes. Getting into the habit of jotting down notes immediately or even during. I write notes about people as we're visiting. If I have my AirPods in, I can write and take notes about their health issues, or what they might be stressing about today. So just jotting those notes down after the conversation will help you to help them research, find answers to their their concerns. It's just a great way to do that. So that's in virtual office. If you have Marketing Sense allows you to do the same thing. And I actually keep notes in both places, but I use Marketing Sense more than I use the virtual office. So again, you can use your virtual office to capture notes, or you can use an application like Marketing Sense. There's another one out there that's fairly new called Get Oiling. I'm sure it has a place for notes. Any of those places will work. All right, another thing that you want to do is to keep a to-do list. And this is where I put all of my to-do lists, IPA activities. Certain apps will sync with your phone and your computer, and you can even invite others to access some of your lists, like Google Calendar. And so you can, if you have leaders that you're working with and you want to share events, to collaborate or whatever before the actual event date, you can do that in some of these things. Plus, you can assign due dates, reminder notifications, and repeated events. I know you can do this in Marketing Sense. You can also do this in Get Oiling. Both of those allow you to assign tasks, reminder notification, and you can create repeated events that you need to have emailed out to whatever group of people you choose to have that emailed out to. So this can easily be an everything accountability tool, your to-do list. Some people prefer doing it in a notebook. As long as your organization is small, that probably will work very good for you. Okay, Sandy, let's talk about follow-through tasks.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Glad to be with you. And thank you for joining us. Okay, so one of the first things that happened to me when I was starting to grow my business was I had done a pretty large vendor event. And my upline supported me with that and helped me with it. And when we got done with that event, the first thing they said is, okay, Sandy, you've got all these people that you've just connected with. How are you going to follow up? And that just really got me thinking, how am I going to follow up? Because the money is in the follow-up. And I don't know how many times my upline told me that. The money is in the follow-up. So that's the thing about this business. It is a relationship business. So when you meet somebody and you get their information, you have to have a system for following up. So there's certain things that you're going to want to do and on a regular basis when you're connecting with people. And one of them is either, first of all, you got to have their information. You got to have their name and their email address or their phone number. But you're going to want to follow up. Within 48 hours, you want to follow up with somebody. Don't wait until the end of the month. And it's the same thing with your team. If you've got things that you're wanting to follow up on through the month, like let's just say, who has missed their ER order this month, or who are the new members in my organization this month? You don't want to wait till the end of the month to do all these follow-ups. You want to have things on your calendar and task it out so that you can spread it out through the month. And these are all income producing activities. When you follow up with somebody, you're going to see it on your check usually, especially like if somebody's missed an ER order, and it can happen for many reasons. Like sometimes the credit card number is expired, the credit card date, or they forgot to press something in the virtual office, or their address has changed. Something can sometimes happen that their ER order didn't want to go through, and you need to follow up on those things. So trust me, you don't want to wait until the last minute to do all this stuff. These tasks that we're going to be talking about tonight need to be done. Some need to be done weekly, some need to be done monthly, and some things you're going to want to do daily. So again, follow through. The money is in the follow-up. That's what I've been grilled. The money is in the follow-up. Follow through is the same thing as follow-up. So as you continue to learn to follow up, it will become natural to you. It will be something you do on a regular basis, and you won't even think about it. You won't even need to look at your IPA calendar every day as to what you need to do. You're going to remember these are the important things that I need to follow up on today. So I'm going to turn it over now to Dana, who's actually going to talk a little bit about a calendar, an IPA schedule, and how you can systematically learn to follow up.
Hey, so your IPA schedule is a sample timeline of what you can do daily, weekly, every other week, and monthly to keep your business growing. Sometimes we need reminders, we get stuck, and it's good to have a list so that you can check it off and then you stay consistent. Being consistent is really important toward growth. It keeps you in the flow even when you may not feel inspired. Your IPA list will give you some motivation because, hey, I need to check that off. And checking stuff off a list gives me a little rush of feel-good hormone. So we can all use that, I'm sure. So the every day, it's good to go into your virtual office and look for upcoming orders that are close to a promotional level. Now, one way to do this is to go to my organization and then start pulling up. I pull up personally enrolled because I have way too many people under me to check on everyone. So I want to connect with the people that know me. So I'll click on, I'll sort the report by personally enrolled by me. And then you click the auto ship the essential reward date, and it'll sort them all by essential reward date. And so then you can look at who's coming up. And a really good thing, if you hover over that, it'll tell you how much they're ordering. If they're ordering $99.50, you need to contact them because they're 50 cents away from a promotion. Or in September, we're going to be having free shipping at 100. So you don't want anybody under 100. They're going to pay shipping when they could get it for free just for a few more dollars. So I have actually saved a report, that 3 reports that come to me every Monday, and one of them is for people that are between $80 and $100, and people that are between like the next one's 190, so they're going to be between 150 and 189, and then so forth. And so I get people that are on the verge of getting something for free, but they may not know it. And people are so excited to learn that if they just add a lip balm to their order, they're going to get some free oil. So that's something good to do every day. You can check for unprocessed orders and message people. So, you know, Sandy already went over that. Sometimes things happen. So you want to look at, it'll tell you when somebody's got an ER and the date has passed, but there's no check mark in it. That order didn't process, and they'll have 0 PV. So you may want to just follow up with them. We don't want them to lose the points that they've earned. So, and people really feel like you're taking good care of them when you do that most of the time. And you connect with prospects daily. Make it a habit of reaching out to new people or reaching out to people that you know that you haven't talked to in a long time. That's still a prospect. And just because somebody said no in the past doesn't mean they're going to say no again. I mean, don't start the conversation with, hey, I would love to sell you a starter kit. You know, just connect with them. Just, you know, say, hey, I was thinking about you. How you doing? If something comes up in their life, I mean, things change for people on a daily basis. They may get a diagnosis or something, and they all of a sudden, wellness goes to the top of their important things list. And you'll be right there when the time comes. every week you want to check in with any new members that joined within the last month. So when they're first getting started, they may be really intimidated by the oils because those little bottles don't have much instruction on them at all. And if you haven't really drove in, I mean, you might tell them what to do with it or where to find the resources at, but they may not have heard you. People only remember 10% of what you tell them. And so until they really experience it and get that bottle out and open it and put it somewhere, they haven't really committed that to memory. And until they've done that many times, they probably aren't real comfortable. So I know people that have had their starter kit for a year and never opened it, never opened the box. So be sure and connect with new members to make sure, have you opened your box? Have you opened your oils? I like to sit down and go through it with them and say, we're going to find out what you can use lemon oil for. I can tell you what I will use it for, but that may not mean anything to them. They may not have, you know, the same situation at home that I do. I want to tell you, let's find out how you can use thieves oil. You know, how can you use Diagize? So that's a really important thing. And so just keep that conversation going. Oh, you used it. How did that go? You know, just be there. Every 2 weeks, you want to contact people with 0 PV, approximately on the 9th and the 26th, just to see if they, you know, if there's anything they're needing. And then every month, and like like I said, if you have way too many members and you're not enrolling most of them, just sort it by your personally enrolled, because those people know who you are. Every month, you want to send a newsletter out, preferably by the 4th.
I want to add something to that, Dana, about the newsletter. There are a couple of places that you can, that have newsletter templates. One of them is Marketing Sense. Another one is Grow Workspace. If you are not at this time investing in your business for these types of applications to help you, maybe your downline is very small yet and you don't feel that it warrants it, that's cool. So the leaders usually send out a monthly newsletter. I know I do for my group. I give you permission to make any tweaks or changes to that newsletter and send it out as your own if you choose to. You know, it's already done. Michelle goes through a lot of trouble to put that together. And so if you're wanting to start a newsletter, that is an easy way. Or you can go through those apps that I just mentioned. Sorry, Dana, go ahead.
Oh, sure, no problem. Another one of my leaders sends out something called the Monthly Oiler. But that newsletter is not allowed to be shared online. So she texts it to us, and she's put it on a Google Drive and then texts the link to us, but we can't like put it on our Facebook pages and stuff. That's a really good one if you're doing like project broadcast and you're doing texting that way. Another thing I like, normally every month, somebody in our leader group posts a sway. And sways are kind of like newsletters, but they're just really easy, one link, and it's everything hosted on one page. And I really enjoy the sways a lot, and that's something I post on my Facebook group too, and I text out on Project Broadcast. So they don't have to look at it if they don't want to, but if you text it out to them, then they can click on that, and it'll expand into a lot of details about what's going on this month in Young Living. So enough about newsletters. Rank up cards and mailings. So if somebody ranked up last month, you want to send them a little yay, congratulations. And any mailings you're going to do, you would want to do those probably by the 7th. And then reach out to members from 3 months ago every month on the 10th, from the past 3 months, I would say. And then people that are missing essential reward enrollment dates about the middle of the month, you want to start looking at that. Keep an eye on that for the rest of the month, because as it gets closer, I got people that have essential rewards on the 28th of the month and 29th, and it just makes me so nervous, because if they don't have that order, and they may be somebody that's qualifying for a check, and I can't, we don't have much time to get that corrected if there's a problem. So just start keeping an eye on that stuff, and then reaching out to members from 2 months ago that I kind of covered that. Reach out to last month's new members again on the 19th, and then reach out to last order date greater than 3 months accounts. So I don't know if you've noticed, but on Young Living's, on the organization, my organization, they now have a column and it's got a little number next to, like, it tell you if they have an essential reward order, and then if that processed, and then the next column has dates. They just have numbers, and it'll say 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, and if it's 10 or 11, I think they're in red because that's how many months they haven't had an order, and they're poised to go into active soon. So kind of keep an eye on that. You can run that report and then click the top of that column, and it'll sort it by ascending or descending, however you want it. And I would go with I would kind of typically start reaching out to people that haven't had an order in 3 months, because if they go longer than that, you may have lost their attention. You're going to have more success getting people to order if you talk to them sooner. If you wait until they haven't ordered for 11 months, it's going to be harder, but it is definitely doable, and I have done it for sure. People are like, oh gosh, I want to keep my account. I didn't realize it's been that long. So they're glad to get a hold of you. One other thing I want to tell you, put these dates on your calendar. Like, definitely be sure that you're writing this stuff in, because it's really easy to let it fall off. And even if you have an electronic calendar, just put it as a reoccurring event every month on whatever date you choose. Even if you don't have the members on your team yet, set them up now. I may not have any members, but I know that once I get them, this is what I'm going to be doing. And you're kind of forecasting and vision casting for what you want your life to look like in the future. And they'll come if you allow them to, they'll show up. I got a text this morning. I woke up to a text. Somebody said, when can we meet so I can get signed up as a distributor? And my sister wants some Progessence Plus. I mean, I wasn't fighting that. I was allowing that to happen. And so you have a good night's sleep and you wake up and you've got work to do. It's all good. So I think that's all I have about IPAs, unless you ladies have something to add to that.
No, I think that's great. I did want to add a little bit to those persons who have last order date greater than 3 months. These are great people to maybe send a postcard with a diffuser blend out. And I know Lee Flavin is on, if I'm saying her last name correctly, is on tonight, and she was sharing a link that the three of us get anyway. It's I believe it's the oil store. Am I right, guys? Is it the oil store?
Oil supply.
Oil supply.
Thank you, Lee. If you have that link anywhere, can you post that in the chat box? That is a great place to get flyers and postcards. She's got a whole slew of new summer and back to school postcards and going into the fall postcards. So that's what it means when under every month on the 7th it says mailings. I started doing this at the first of the year, and I did one for Valentine's Day. There was a Love is in the Air diffuser recipes. I think there were 3 or 4 recipes on that postcard. And if nothing else, you're just kind of, letting them know that, number one, you're thinking about them and helping them to stay engaged in thinking about the oils and what the oils can do for them. So, this is something that you can do to even non-members. You can send out little oil postcards and just say, I was thinking of you today, and, and this oil diffuser blend came to mind, something like that. But yeah, so here is your IPA schedule. And Dana, you did a great job going through it. And Dana's actually got, don't you have this calendar somewhere in a document, Dana?
Yes, I do, actually. It came from Grow Workspace as a download.
Well, and
Yeah,
then
they
I
have.
sent you the document from Inspired Sharing too.
Okay.
Okay, so we have those documents, but basically, rule of thumb is you're using a calendar to start scheduling. That's pretty much it. But if you want that worksheet, we can get them to you. Also, Dana did mention about a sway that she uses to let people know what's going on in Young Living or with particular products. There is a sway posted in the chat box. Let me make sure it's still there. Where's my chat box?
I see it.
Yeah, so if you came on late, I'm hoping that it's still there. I'll put it in there again because sometimes you don't see the ones that are before you. Okay, so there's the oil supply store from Lee. Thank you, Lee. And here's this particular sway link. It's just going to give you an example of what a sway link does. And this particular sway is on gardening and using it with oil. So you can take that sway, you can, save it somewhere, look up the class by clicking it, and it's easy peasy. Okay, so now the three of us are going to jump into talking about new member and prospective check-ins. It's important that from the beginning, you have a way to check in with your prospects and your new members. The first 3 months of new membership is the most critical for continuation of new members. If they are enthusiastic, enjoy the products they purchase, and find a need for other lifestyle changes based on our catalog, they will probably be a member for life. And I know how easy it is to keep members for life. The majority of my, I still think I can say the majority of my people have came in a long time ago, and they have stuck with me through thick and thin, through, changes in the company, not maybe quite as challenging as COVID, but, when we were in queues of 125 people on the call-ins, they've been with me for life because this has become a lifestyle for them. So because of this, at the end of each meeting that you have with these people that you're plugging into, these new members and perspectives that you're checking in on, always set up the next time to talk. The best time to set an appointment with somebody is at the end of an appointment you just had, so that you can keep this relationship and this ball rolling continually. And here's a business builder suggestion. As soon as you sign up a new member, mark on the calendar or on your to-do list app, whatever you're using, like we talked about earlier, when you will do your follow-ups with that particular person. That way, they are set and you're not going to forget. So, Sandy, can you cover the next slide, please?
Okay, so the idea with this is that you should stay on top of who you are talking to. You need a way of following up. Again, we're using that word, follow up. It's important to keep a notebook, or if you're putting it in the virtual office. But even then, I like putting things in the virtual office, but I like having a hard copy or a calendar of who I've talked to and connected that day. It's easy to fall behind and lose your system if you don't stay on top of it. Don't get discouraged. If this happens to you, you just need to make sure you get back on top of it. And so when you speak to someone or prospective member, you need to get an idea from that conversation how soon they want you to follow up with them. Ask them, how do you best like to communicate? Do you like me to text you, or can we call and talk? Let me tell you that when you can actually talk to somebody and you can hear their voice and they can hear yours, that is the best way to follow up. So instead of checking that person off the list, if they didn't get in touch, if you didn't connect with them, keep them on your list and try again the next day. Simply change the date on your calendar that you're going to get back in touch with them in a day or two, so that you continue to remind yourself that this is somebody you want to follow up with and connect with them again. You will find that some people eventually will be taken off your check-in list because you become such great friends with them. You're just going to talk to them on a regular basis. There's some people that are very difficult to connect with, and you're going to find this. Don't get discouraged. There's different ways of checking in and connecting with people. If they don't answer your phone calls, then it's probably a person that doesn't like to talk on the phone, or they're so busy they may have a job or something that they can't talk to you on the phone. So text that person. If they don't text you back, then try another way. Sometimes you may have to mail a card or some way of, there's just different ways for you to try to connect with them. Don't give up. That's the main thing. I've had to give up on certain people after a certain amount of time, but I really hate doing that because it's not good for my business, first of all, and they've got a kit out there and they probably don't know what to do with it. So you want to continue to keep in touch with those people that you are personally enrolling. So what goes on the check-in list?
Who?
Anyone you personally enroll.
That's right. Anyone, that's for member check-in list. And then anyone goes on your list who might be a prospective member. So when Sandy was saying that, you find some people that can eventually be taken off that checklist, it may be because you have reached out to them a number of times and they're not responding. So rather than, get your energy in a negative place, just move on. This is one of the things, we never take these things personally. And their no, if they're not answering, isn't necessarily a no. It's just not right now. They might have a lot going on. So, be sensitive to that as well. We were talking about drawing people to us in this last week, the three of us, and then we have another gal who's with us, Kelly, for our mastermind group. And one of the attitudes that we highly encourage you to have when you're putting people on your check-in list, especially prospects or prospective members, the attitude that you want to have is that, as I am continually drawing people who are interested in improving their lifestyle or their health. Say an affirmation and say it often. One of the affirmations that Kelly shared with us that I thought was extremely powerful, and I want to share it with you tonight, is I trust in the universe, and since I trust, it gives me everything I desire with ease and speed. And we're going to talk more about this as we go along, but Dana's going to wrap up new member and prospective check-ins. Did Dana get knocked off?
Nope, she's here. She's muted. Dana, you're muted, dear.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old and shares my office with me. So I mute for door slamming and such things like that. Anyway, so who goes on your prospective check-in list is anyone that I've talked to about oils or anyone that I plan to talk to about oils. And so for people that you plan to talk to, you may want to use a memory jogger where you're saying, who do I know that cuts hair? Who do I know that's a massage therapist? Who do I know that's a dry cleaner? Those kind of things. And as you think of them, put them on a list. A really good place to keep a list is in Google Drive or a Google Doc or Google Forms, whatever you're comfortable with, because those things can be pulled up on your phone at the moment that you think of someone. You can quickly add them or make an update to that. I'm not that organized yet, but I plan to be. It's a really good idea to be that organized. So I could probably be Royal Crown Diamond right now had I done that, 10 years ago.
Well, Dana, I think you're a lot more organized than you think you are.
Maybe that's true. But I love, one thing I did is I'm learning how to do social media posts that get people's curiosity and requires them to respond to get the rest of the details about what you're talking about. And when I've done that, I might have 50 people or more respond with, oh, really, what did you do? And I say, I'll send you a private message. And whenever I get the people that either liked that or commented on that post, I make a list and then I follow up with them. Hey, I saw that you commented on my post about my husband's chronic pain and how we got over it. Is there anything that you would like to know about that? Or are you dealing with something similar? And just start a conversation. I mean, it takes time, but I have had a lot of success doing that. And with just the short amount of time I've been playing with that idea. So, and it's all about being organized. I have my list from Funnel Your Focus. That's a neat little $10 or less note binder thing that you can get from George Schrant. And she's got some forms in there where you keep your prospects and you check off, if I've done this or that for them. And so I kept those people on those lists and I'd make notes and dates about when I contacted them. And it's really worked well. And I can still a month or two later go back to that same list and pick up conversation. So I'm never without prospects just because of that one post that I did, 8 weeks ago. So that's pretty much who I have on my prospect list, and I'll hand it back over to you.
All right. So we recommend, again, checking in with the new members once a week for the first month. And then you'll do that for 4 weeks. And then once a month for 2 to 3 months. Just making sure that they don't have any unanswered questions and they're being taken care of. One of the things that comes to mind as we're going through this particular subject area is I cannot tell you how many people I have been in contact with who have said, I never heard from my upline. I was never helped. And God forbid that ever be any of my people in my organization. But I think that this is something that does happen a lot. And they're kind of orphaned. The people, they may be 10 levels below you and you don't know them personally. And they get discouraged because there's no community there and they're not learning. So even people that, if you have a large organization, even people that I haven't personally enrolled, I will introduce myself to, just kind of let them know that I'm out here. I encourage them to call me if they have a question, if they can't get their own immediate upline or their upline silver to answer as well. So as your organization grows, these are things that you can keep in your mind. Upon signing up, create a plan with the new member to use at least 3 products from the kit in easy to do ways. You can use the health goals worksheet that we talked about, I think it was the week before last. And Dana, don't you have that one on Google Docs as well?
I know you can get it on your Diamond Miners page. It's out there.
Okay. So this is a health goals worksheet. All it is it's like 6 weeks of health goals for an individual. And so you're going to check in with that member. You're going to find out how they are, how they're feeling. What are you loving? What is your favorite product in the kit right now? What are you finding that you're nervous to try? I have actually had people say, I was afraid to do Digest because I didn't know, you know, I'd read that it was really good for digestion and I didn't know if I was going to end up in the bathroom. Seriously, I've had people say that to me. And it's because they don't know. They don't know. So ask them, is there anything that you're nervous about trying? And then give some simple ideas for using 3 more oils. So this is in week 1. This is when you're checking in. What I do is I write down on my calendar the day that they order. And 10 days from then, I write down that I'm going to check back with them. And I tell them that I'm going to check back with them in 10 days. And then I'm going to ensure that they have gotten their premium starter kit. And then we can either set up another time or we can go through the kit right there, either on the phone. We can set up a Zoom. You can have an unboxing on Zoom. I know Pam Hine does that a lot with her people who are in the UK. They have Zoom meetings early in the morning and they do unboxings. So that's really exciting. If you have a couple of gals that bought their kits within the same week and you know that they're going to get them, maybe you want them on a Zoom with you to do that. In week 2, you're going to check with them again and you're going to ask them similar questions. What are you loving? Have you found that, you know, a new oil that you love even more than Peace and Calming from your first week? Are there any oils that you still feel nervous about using? What supplies would make your oil use easier? Do you have enough roller balls? Do you want to make your own roller balls? Are you a DIY kind of person? This way too, you're going to find out more about them. And that's what's fun, getting them to talk about, oh yes, I love making things, you know, and where can I get some great roller balls? So maybe 10 mil roller ball things, you know, like these roller ball holders. You can get them different colors. You can make your own labels. There's just a lot of things that you can do with the oils. So give some simple ideas in week 2 for using 3 more oils. And then week 3, you're going to check in with them again. How are you doing? Are you noticing a difference? Are you feeling better than you were before you got your oils? These are discussions that you really want to make sure that you have. You want to see if those oils are making a difference. I had sold a kit to someone, I guess 2 weeks ago, and she was suffering from sciatic nerve issues. And of course, as soon as she got her oils, I made sure to connect with her and find out, and we did it through text, and find out if she was getting some relief. And she was. In fact, the most relief that she was getting was from Aroma Seas. I had her order some Aroma Seas, and she put it in Epsom salts and she would soak in the tub. And that really, really helped her with that discomfort. And then in week 3, you can also talk about other targeted support. Like, you know, maybe you discussed the fact that they had a specific health issue on their health goals worksheet. This would be the time to, you know, bring up any other types of products. And then in week 4, what you're going to do is what has been your experience in our group and at our classes. So hopefully by week 4, your new member is attending these classes with you, that your new member is a part of our group's Facebook page. In our case, it's Diamond Miners, and Sandy's, it's Sensational Living. And Dana, what is yours again?
YL Oils with Dana.
Yeah. So these are all areas that you want to make sure that you're driving your new member to, so that they can get an experience. And then ask them, is there something on there that, you know, you found really helpful? What did you think about the, you know, how to make 3 bottles of laundry soap with 1 bottle of Thieves laundry soap? Oh, I didn't see that post. Well, I'll tag you in it. And that's how you are helping to educate them and getting them interested in other products. You might want ask them, which is the product that you find yourself using the most by week 4? And which products are you running low on? If they're putting lavender in their diffuser every single night, in a month, they're going to need a 15 ml bottle of lavender. So this is a time that you're going to discuss the need for essential rewards so that they can continue their original health goals and reordering products. So that is really what your goal is there. Okay. Sandy's going to talk about professionalism and conscious language.
One of my favorite subjects. I hope I don't lose my voice here. You know, first of all, having a Young Living business, you are a professional. People want to work with people that are professional. And so it's important that you speak professionally, that when you meet them, that you look professional. It's important to actually this is a part of your business. They signed up with you because they're either a friend or they respect you in some way, your knowledge. But to really push that to the next level, you are a professional. This is your business. So, and how you talk to people is so important because you want to make sure you're connecting with them in a warm and positive and fuzzy way that they feel good about you talking to them about the oils, and that they respect you as a authority in this area. So make sure that you are talking to them in a manner that is relating to them and whatever issues they have. It's not necessary for you to be harsh with anybody that you enroll. You want to create a wonderful relationship between you and your member. Conscious language is an area that many of us don't think about, but what we put out there has vibration. Our words have vibration. Our words have negative vibrations or positive vibrations. So it's important that when you put something out there with your words, that it's positive, and that when you put positivity out there, it comes back to you positively. When you put negative things out there, it consequently comes back to you negatively. It's important to not get sarcastic with people, because when you are getting putting things out there that you don't really mean, it can truly come to light. For instance, if somebody makes you laugh, you hear this regularly, and I'm going to have to delete this, but you might hear somebody say, "Oh, you're killing me." Just think about those words a minute. Clear, delete, clear, delete. When you say things that you don't really mean, you have just put it out there for that energy to be coming back to you. And it's also not professional to talk that way. So make sure that if you do not understand what I'm talking about here, conscious language is important. It is really what you are putting out there, and you're going to get back in return. If you don't know anything about conscious language, there is a great book out there called Conscious Language by Robert Tennyson Stevens. He is the expert. It is going to make you cry when you read this book, because it's such a deep book. But it's written in a very light way and in large print. So even though this looks like a pretty thick book, it really is a quick read. And then there's another favorite book I have out there called Conscious Rapport for Network Thriving. And this is written by one of our Young Living Royal Crown Diamonds, who's internationally recognized as an author, speaker, and facilitator. And this is my Royal Crown Diamond, Marcella Von Harding. She's put a lot of heart and knowledge into this book. It's amazing. You can buy this on I think it's less than $10 on Life Science Publishing. So I highly recommend that as you get into this, that you really school yourself, you develop yourself, your speaking skills, your conscious language. Listen to yourself talk, because it's important to put out the words that you truly mean and are from your heart. And those things, when they're put out there in a loving and intuitive and authentic way, they will come back to you in a very positive way. So instead, and here's some things to, like, some examples. Instead of, I really want to become a silver, no, stop, delete. I am a silver with a team of strong leaders and motivated members. Do you see the difference there? In one sentence, you're saying, I really want to become a silver. Stop, clear, delete. And when you say things you don't mean, you could say that to yourself, clear, delete. I didn't mean that. And then say what you truly mean. And when you say this, you're saying it in the present tense as if it's already happened, and you're saying it with the emotion of how it's going to feel when it does happen, as it's happening. I am a silver with a team of strong leaders and motivated members. Woo! Did you feel that energy? So it's not that you are speaking lies. You're putting out into the world what you desire to become and what you want in return. Words have meaning and vibration. And on the meaning of them, be intentional and know that your brain and the universe is listening to what you're saying and what you are asking. Because those things, you're declaring them. And I want to read this one part to you in Bob's book here, because it makes so much sense. Speech is a conscious direction of breath from our lungs that's turned into currents and crosses over our vocal cords. And it really is, I was going to read, life and death are in the power of the tongue.
Yep. That's
Proverbs 18:21.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that, how powerful the Bible says our words are. And I think that's my part of it right there. Do I have more on that, Christina? Is there more that you want to?
Well, this is basically her story. If you want me to go ahead and read it, Sandy, I will. So
sure.
This is an example of conscious language before Dory Doyle, who is the author of Oil, Share, Repeat, a blueprint to launching your business in 3 days. She started to grow her business from her local community, and the way she did that, and I kind of want us to kind of share how we did that, because it wasn't too different for me. But what she did was she hosted monthly dinners, and only 2 or 3 people would show up. But I would enthusiastically talk about how amazing the community of Oilers was, and that at our dinners we shared ideas, we laughed, we talked about oil usage, and the dinners were wonderful. She asks, did I lie? Nope, not at all. Because for those that came, that's exactly what we did. And within months, well, it happened. We now have dinners with many times the numbers of people in the beginning, and we're growing. And I put out in the world what I want to envision, and then I looked at where it led. Did it hurt me to say it? No. The growth is there in the numbers. So I'll tell you something else that happened to her. She experienced great success in enrollments. You want to know how she did it? She will say with spirit, this is her affirmation: I am attracting confident, excited, and determined women to me by sharing Young Living. And boy, did it. Several of her members were from other companies. Some members were competitors, and some were strangers. And I said I would bring them in, and I did. Now for me, when I started hosting, I don't remember if it was I think it was a monthly meeting, and I called it my oil awareness session. I know that's a silly name, but it's the only thing I could come up with 21 years ago. And we monthly, then they would come into my home and we would share information about the oils, and I would share my oils with them so that they got to experience. And just like Dory's experience, where she was enthusiastic about it, even if 2 or 3 people showed up at my oil class, I was enthusiastic and said, come join us, because we're learning so much. And I was learning with them. And this is how my organization has grown to where it is today. Do you girls have anything similar to that?
I just want to say that every day I say a mantra that is just like this. I vote my permanent victory in the light. I vote my team's permanent victory in the light. And I vote Cristina and Dana and everybody on my 9:15 call permanent victory in the light. I cover those areas every day because it's so important for me to declare it every day that I vote my victory. I vote your victory. I vote my team's victory, and I vote my friend's victory in the light. And it's powerful to say that every day.
That's
Vote
awesome.
your victory.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sandy, for doing that for us and for yourself. That's important. So Dana, this is your part.
Professionalism and conscious language. So as you're starting with conscious language, if you're starting with conscious language, you want to just take one word and delete it from your vocabulary. Maybe start with the word want. Want connects you with a lack of something. So you're always trying to come from behind. You know, you're in a position where you don't have this thing, whatever that is. Is that really how you want to go through life? I doubt it. So maybe instead of saying want, say I am attaining, or I am achieving, or I am in the process of attracting, 17 silver leaders to my team. Do it for 1 week and see how that feels. I think you'll see that your energy maybe shifts a little bit higher. Do you desire to change one more thing from your vocabulary? Try, and maybe are 2 other words that you may want to consider changing. Right now, I would like for you to try and stand up. Did you stand up? It's either yes or no. So you didn't try at all. You either stood up or you did not stand up. You didn't try. Try is something that toddlers do. They try to walk or they try to eat. So make a choice and stick by it. And try is just another word for no. If I invite somebody to an event and they say, well, I'll try to make it, I'm pretty much considering that a no. Like they're not coming because they're going to try. And that is so weak. Be powerful. If you don't intend to do something, don't say, I'll try. That's just, it's like a limp handshake. For me, I would say, thank you for asking. That doesn't work for me. I didn't make an excuse, and I didn't say I would try when I know I won't, because I don't want to go, So try is something to get rid of. You will be amazed at what little changes those make. And another thing that I see people saying is they'll say, I need a break. Really? Do you need to break something? And I've had people that have broken something and I'm like, have you been asking for a break lately? Well, maybe, yeah. And so I don't, you have to have impeccable timing whenever you're correcting someone on their conscious language or pointing it out, because I do that with my husband quite often, and I've learned that sometimes I just need to keep my corrections to myself. But another thing I do is each month I'll draw out my vision in colorful, and so this is I Am a Young Living Platinum, August 2020, with joy and ease. And then I have my team members' goals. I've talked to them about what their goals are, and I've added them to my list so I can visualize them being in the same space of this being attracted already. And so it's very helpful to see already exist, because somewhere in time they do exist. If you can think it, you can have it.
Thank you, Dana. I want to elaborate just a little bit more on that word want. When it really impacted me about not using the word want, it was when I was thinking of the 23rd Psalm. In the very first sentence of the 21st Psalm, it says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." So if we truly believe that we are being led and guided by, our Father in heaven or Jesus or whatever it is that your belief system aligns with, it doesn't have to be my belief system. Just know that you are co-creators and that you should never need to want for anything. That the universe wants the very best. It is attaining the very best for us. Okay, these are the 3 steps that we're going to cover, and then we're going to call it an evening. What I want you to do, this is kind of homework. It's for you. This homework is not for us. It's for you to really get in the zone, really get in the mindset of what it is that you're choosing to have from this business. Create an affirmation, write it out, and tape it to your bathroom mirror and say it to yourself every day, morning and night. Now, again, what's an affirmation? Sandy posted her affirmations, 3 of her affirmations in the chat box just a couple of minutes ago. I was mentioning an affirmation that Kelly shared with us the other day. I trust in the universe. And since I trust, it gives me everything I desire with ease and speed. So find an affirmation. Another affirmation that Sandy shares with us very regularly, because she has it on a sticky note, is I am strong. I am enough. If you need to do this for yourself because maybe you're feeling a little less than, we're highly encouraging you to do this. And for extra credit, I want you to find an oil, pair an uplifting and motivating oil to smell while you say that affirmation out loud. Now, I have a signature oil that I have paired specifically with the affirmation, I am so happy and grateful now that I am a Royal Crown Diamond. And that particular oil is loyalty. Loyalty has rose in it. It smells divine. And every time I smell it, I think of being Royal Crown Diamond. And every time I say I am a Royal Crown Diamond, I think of that oil. So pair an uplifting oil to an affirmation. And you can have many affirmations and you can have different oils paired to them. And for extra credit, stand in a power pose while smelling your oil and saying your affirmation. Feel strong about this. Feel positive. This will continue to empower you. All right. So this was next week. I was mentioning at the beginning that we're going to wrap it up next week to kind of bring this all into, fruition, the kind of bring it all together. I want to encourage you to, go back over these first, it'll be 9 lessons. This is lesson number 8. And just review over and over again until you understand how easy this business really is. I also want to highly encourage you, and we did this, I think the week before last or last week, to get your own book. I'm going to stop my share here. Oh, you don't need my sticky tab. Oil, Share, Repeat by Dory Doyle. And when I recommended this 2 weeks ago, my niece, who is wanting to build her business, got it. And she was really excited when she received it in the mail, so much so that she texted me and said, Aunt Chris, I got my book. I'm so happy. And then after she started jumping into the book, she said, I was just wondering, Aunt Chris, I'm at the part where it asks me for my why. would you be willing to share your why with me? And I said, absolutely. And right now, I'm going to share the why that I sent to Eileen the other day. Let's see, here it is. Oh, I guess she did it on Messenger. Just a minute. Just 1 minute.
I put some files in the chat box too, some downloads. So before we leave, you guys want to click on those and download them to your device. There's about 5 things.
Yeah, thanks, Dana, for doing that. So she said, hi, Aunt Chris. I just started the Oil Share Repeat book. So I'd love to know your why. And then she put a real cute little blushy emoji. I said, my why is to help people, to not work for someone else, to have freedom. And money gives me freedom, freedom to travel and to become more of what God intends me to be. And she said, love that. Thank you. And little hearts emoji. So as you start delving deeply into your why in the beginning of these lessons and really figuring out what it is that you're choosing to do with this business, and then implementing the steps through empowering, enrolling, and encouraging new people, developing relationships, you're only going to get better and better. You're only going to get better and better. And as Sandy said tonight, you know, if it didn't come off the way you wanted it to the first couple of times, keep at it. Keep at it. We're all continuing to strive to become better on a daily basis. And that's why we get together at 9:15, and you're welcome to join us at 9:15 as well. Those times, and that's Central Standard Time, by the way. And the number is posted in our Facebook group. So please join us. We would love to have you. Any closing remarks, Sandy?
No, I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. This was a fun night.
Well, good. Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everyone who came on tonight. For those of you who came on late, it will be on YouTube channel, Cristina Campbell, within the next 24 to 48 hours. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.